Um, let's yeah, just deep appreciation and gratitude to Karen for just holding the space and um um for Eric as well. Um and just deep appreciation for all of you who come week after week, even if I'm not here. Um and it's really special to have this space every Monday night. I want to especially welcome those of you who are new to this gathering. Welcome. Just sit back, relax. Something's going to happen. Um, we're going to take off in some way. And also, since we just finished our ancestor practice series yesterday. Welcome to those of you maybe who were here from that session, or just thank you for those who sat and participated in the program as well. So yeah, so welcome. And yeah, I haven't been with you for a couple of weeks. Last week, I was just going through a little bit of sickness. It was much more like, how you're trying to sign on to Zoom and then Zoom wants to update very suddenly. So I was just going through life last Monday and then, I needed to go through an update. So I am just coming out on the other side of that update. Which it was an update. It was, yeah, it was felt as physical, impairment, but it was really much more spiritual than that. Just this kind of there's a period where I had to be shut down and rebooted, and I feel the reboot. I'm grateful for it, though I'm still getting back in my body as well. Um, I'm very grateful. I'm very grateful for Karen for stepping in at the last minute on Monday as well. And I watched part of that. And I'll tune in. If I'm not here, I'll tune in to look at the recordings that some of you, lead, and just to get a sense of what's happening. And was just really deeply moved by Karen sharing. And something that you said, Karen, that I personally needed to be, I guess, reminded of or reflected back to me. And it was particularly when you said that, I seem to be going very fast these days. And I really get that, as a lived experience. I really understand the pace that I'm going. And I recognize that. And also, I know I have to deal with the consequences of that swiftness. There's a lot happening. There's a lot igniting around me. And I just want to, just recognize that, every day it's something new for me, and this is honestly exactly what I have been working for and praying for, for the swiftness, for the speed, right? Because I know that, well, I know that tomorrow is not a guarantee. And I think all of us are working with that teaching. Of course, that's the basic teaching of impermanence. Like that's impermanence. That one tricky teaching that we all forget about, right? Until we're like laid in bed and we're like, what happens? I was doing so well. What happened? Right? Impermanence, things are shifting, things are changing. But again, when you decide, when you say yes to impermanence, like when you stop fighting it, right? And that's a part in general of choosing freedom. Choosing freedom also means that you say yes to change. This is changing, everything's changing, I'm changing, you're changing. And when you hold space for that and you just ride it, right? It's like a rodeo, like something like that. It's like you just ride it. You ride the impermanence, and it will, once you let go of expectations, and as we often say, this is like a cliche, but letting go of hopes and fears. You ever hear that in Buddhist circles? I'm going to let go of hopes and fears. But I'm telling you, if you actually start practicing that, shit's going to change, right? Shit's going to move real quick, right? And that's the space that I'm in, you know? It's the space of continuous unfolding and saying yes, no matter what unfolds, right? Be it suffering or be it joy, we say yes, right? We say yes to it. And it is a deep blessing and also a deep pain in the ass. Um, yeah. I want to make a special shout out to Angel, who's here in this space, who sent me a really powerful um Ayurvedic treatments to help just really get me back on track. And it is working. I just wanted to let you know it is working. Um, I'm deeply grateful for that, as well as thank you for sharing your medicine with me. You know, um, I've been learning, this week so much about like community, relying on community, relying on friends, family, relying on your neighbors. you know, when you're just down and out, how much mutual aid is so important, and how really my heart breaks for those of us who do not have access to mutual aid. For those of us who don't have networks of any to rely on. I have a lot of support, you know, and I don't take that for granted. And I hope that in this practice, when we talk about medicine Buddha, yeah, we can really get really strict about, medicine Buddha being about healing, which is this is fine, and that's absolutely, an important, kind of focus. But we're also talking about the causes and conditions of healing as well. The causes and conditions. What resources do I need to experience wellness, to experience balance, to experience healing? What do I need access to? And I think one of the things that we all need access to is community. You know, we need people. We need more than just the unseen. I love my unseen world. So I spend a lot of time there. But we also, in this realm, in the realm of the physical, and the realm of the material, we need people. People who need people, right? Um, and I hope that we can pray and practice for that if that's something that we need. You know, Like the Beatles said, I get by with the help of my friends. I mean, that's never not been true for me. You know, as I have often taught, there are people taking care of you that you have no idea who are taking care of you. People are watching out for you. I'm just talking about people, physical living people, not just the unseen beings. They're always around us, taking care of us. Absolutely, they're always there. But there are living people, beings who are just right there taking care of us. And that's something that we can experience deep gratitude around as well, right? The causes and conditions, right? To pray for that, to pray not just to be well, but for the medicines to be well. And what are those medicines that you need to be well? Not just, again, not just like the physical medicines that promote wellness, but the people, the conditions, the circumstances, the knowledge, the understanding, the clarity. Ultimately in Buddhism, the ultimate medicine, the most authentic medicine is clarity. We get clear about what we are, right? That's how ultimate wellness in Buddhism is enlightenment. Let's actually transcend the illusion, the binary, actually, the very binary of wellness and unwellness, right? Of bad and good, all of that. Let's transcend all of that. That's what we're ultimately trying to get to. We're trying to remember that we're beings who exist beyond sickness and death and old age, these streams of suffering, that we study, right, in Buddhism, the great streams of suffering, right? The same streams that the Buddha witnessed as he was trying to escape from the palace. And he was like, what the fuck is this? What is this? It felt so out of nowhere for him. Of course, that triggered his spiritual path. He was like, this can't be true. Like this can't be the only show that's happening. This show of suffering. There has to be something else. Life has to be more than this, than just suffering, right? And this is what I think, Medicine Buddha is trying to awaken for us. You know, and I've just kind of been stuck in bed, for almost a week. Well, up until Friday, you know, um, really just contemplating this. And not that none of this is new for me, of course, Um, but it was important for me just to be reminded to do reflections again, that like I'm trying to get free from this, right? Um, and as we lean into this, as we choose freedom, as we choose and ride impermanence, this is how we're getting free, and it's not comfortable, but it's freeing, right? The more you do this work, the more you begin to relate to discomfort, to relate to suffering. It's not just this inconvenience, but as a teacher that's pointing you to what liberation is. That's when we begin to transform suffering into a teaching. That's when we open to suffering and say, you know what, you're trying to show me something. What is it? This feels like hell, but you're trying to show me something. You know, um, it's so strange. This week, all my gay men who, I've been telling these stories for the ancestor workshop that we've been doing the past 2 weeks. So forgive me if you're hearing the story again, but it's not really a story. It's just like, as I've said this, I mentioned this in New Saints as well, but like a lot of my ancestors are gay men, gay queer men who died during the height of the AIDS epidemic, right? And they're just with me, as I have often said, our ancestry is much more than blood, hereditary DNA. Ancestors are beings who intentionally collaborate with us, who see us as our descendants, right? Our ancestors are beings who choose to be with us and who see us as our descendants. And it has nothing to do with, I mean, it does, blood, ancestry, DNA, that's a big part of ancestry, but also just beings who are just like, you're my child. Like you're my descendants. You're who I was wanting to you're who I was working for to be in the world, you know? Like you were my dream, right? You embody the life, right? You embody the life that I loved. You embody the things that I loved doing, right? And so they're always with me, you know? When I choose pleasure, I choose it for them. And I choose it for all of my ancestors, absolutely, but particularly for them. Like when I choose to be out and proud and tell my stories, I choose it on behalf of them. Right? Who are you living for? That's the question that's coming up for me. Who are you living for? Who what's the word? Who are you living for, but who are you obligated to? Who are you representing, right? Who are you healing for and on behalf of? And these are questions, actually, we're gonna slow down a little bit. I just want you to take time, you know, to really think about this. Who are you living for? Because this is a part of the community piece. I'm not just here as this autonomous being in the world with no connections, with no affiliations. I didn't just come about like I didn't, I was trained, right, by others who came before me. I am conditioned by culture, and that culture was created by those who lived before me. And so many parts of that culture and that conditioning I love. Now, granted, some of it just is just shit. Right? And that's when we say abolition right there to those parts of the culture that are shit, right? But the parts of the culture that have given me life, that have been the source of my joy, like who made that possible? Because I didn't just invent that, I didn't invent queer joy, and so forth, right? That I mean, like who there's a responsibility here. And that's about remembering. But again, I'm talking and talking, but I'm just holding the space. If you want to put this in the chat, please, who are you living for? Who are you obligated to? Who made your life possible? Right? Because this remembrance of community and mutual aid is a part of the healing that we're working on in this space. It's not just recovering from the cold or COVID or getting well from cancer. This is also deeper, the grandmothers, right? The grandmothers, the grandfathers, the witches. Absolutely. You know, like who else just put it in? Who are you living for? Who has made your life and your thriving possible? And I talk about this all the time. So like, I write books about all the people and the beings, who are helping me, right? Like remember these beings, take time to honor them, right? Black feminists, right? As we talked about in the course last week, this is, you know, the elements, the land, the earth, the water, everything those are our ancestors as well. Like we're obligated to the natural world as well. And I just, I guess, part of me sometimes I get really emotional, um, about not forgetting people or forgetting people, both. Like it's so many people have made my life possible, and I am anxious about not recognizing them, even though it's impossible to recognize everyone. Again, there are beings making my life possible that I have no clue about, right? But at least I can say that, right? May all the beings, both living and spirit, I offer them my deepest gratitude for the ways in which their care sustains my life. And it's important to remember this in periods and moments like this, right? Where it feels like everything is just tearing down the center, like everything is kind of ripping apart. And again, this has to happen, this destabilization this is how we decolonize. Decolonization isn't this pleasant, happy, sweet experience because colonization wasn't a happy, sweet experience. I mean, for the colonized, it wasn't. It may have felt like that for the colonizer, but that was because they were disassociated, right? You can do anything when you're disassociated. You can create all kinds of harm and violence because you're disassociated from the impact of that harm in your body and spirit and mind. But it doesn't fucking disappear because you don't experience it, because you're disassociated. You will have to return back to that pain, to that violence, that trauma to get free. And it's a hard journey, but not impossible. Who else? Harvey Milk, yeah. And Marsha P. Johnson, Silver Rivera, Audre Lloyd, James Baldwin, for me, just saying for me, right? You know, Andre Leon Talley, right? So this remembrance, and as we're remembering, Selena, uh, Charles Mingus. Oh my goodness. I love how Ntozake Shange talks about Charles Mingus and For Color Girls. And I want to look up Ntozake Shange as well for the way that she gave me language to talk about my body and my struggle and my queerness as well as Samuel Delaney as well, and Essex Hemphill. Um, I want to uplift, Sylvia Winter. Absolutely. I am not smart enough to really comprehend Silver Winter, but I tried in graduate school. I did my very best. Honest to God, you know. But Silver Winter ran tracks around my mind. I was like, shit, I need PhDs for this to get through this brilliance, you know. But I want to uplift survival as well, like survival, Virginia Woolf, who has taught me so much about a room of one's own. Like at some point, you need to claim your fucking space, right? You need to claim your space and protect it. We all deserve a room of our own, a sacred space, a place we take refuge in, a place where we can invent ourselves. Anji, you want to come on? Or did you hit it by accident? Okay.
Must have been by accident.
Okay. Well, hello. That's good to
Hello. uh, Greatly affected by the orange um, ozone air quality alert here in Georgia. So I'm going to be quiet and listen in.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thanks for calling me into this space, though.
I haven't been outside for a week. So I have been healing for exactly 7 days now. Um, but yeah, Marlon Riggs. I mean, so many people. Thomas Merton, who was really the real contemplative who taught me about what it means to dwell in just in this deep intimacy with the phenomenal world, this sweetness. And this is the basis of so much of what I like to teach about. It's like call in your people. These are more than just names of people who may be living, but mostly who have transitioned to the next world. But these are people who are still accessible for us in many ways. The Grimke sisters, yeah, the Grimke sisters did a lot. I know sometimes they can be a little controversial, but the Grimke sisters were abolitionists that were born into a very large, I think, South Carolina slave owning family, one of the most prominent slave owning families. I know that y'all not here for a history lesson, but I'm just kind of like, bragging about my knowledge of everyone that's being offered here. Uh, but I've thought about the Grimke sisters quite a bit. I've studied their lives in abolition, how they were just like, fuck this. Like, I can't believe this is happening. And they left. And they went up north. I think one of the Grimke sisters married um someone. Anyway, I can't remember their names. Um, and how they were just like, we know what we've been born into, we know what we've been a part of, and we're going to do whatever we can to disrupt this institution, to disrupt slavery, right? Yeah. It's not necessarily what we're born into, it's how we wake up from it. That's the point here. How we wake up from it, right? Like the Buddha was born as this prince, and his father was like protecting him from becoming, this spiritual leader, right? But still the Buddha woke up. Yeah, it's not what we're born into. It's how we're choosing to wake up, how we're choosing to disrupt, how we're choosing to redefine who and what we are. See, Ida B. Wells. I want a biopic about Ida B. Wells. Like it's time. It's time for Ida B. Wells to have her moment as well, because she did incredible labor in helping us to document, lynching, at the risk of her life. And so many, you know, just the labor of just Black and brown and indigenous women that have done so much and continue to do so much, you know. Miss Aisha. See Angela Davis. And if you're in the Bay Area in November, come out and see us. Come out and see me and Dr. Davis together talking. Erica Huggins, one of my old mentors from the party, who I haven't really talked to in years. Okay, yeah. Again, I sit and do this often. Like when I need support, when I need inspiration, I sit and just think about all these beings, right? All these beings who have shaped my life, all these beings who have shaped the world that I live in for the better, right? And that's healing. That's healing work for me to remember this. To remember that their lives were very difficult. Like they were making choices that like they didn't have examples for necessarily. I mean, not all of them, but like most of them didn't have examples. They just knew that like what was happening wasn't what they wanted, right? And then they struggled at great sacrifice often. Mary Maggs, is my homegirl, right? Oh, Mary Maggs. So let's move into practice. Let's move into practice. And always, we're just beginning. It's going to be a smooth, easy situation as it always is. When you practice with me, nice and smooth. And though you may not experience it as that, but in my intentions, I'm just kind of pouring it on like warm honey, warm maple. It's just the flow. Like that's really from my experience sitting here right now. Like for me, it's just an opening. Like it's an opening, it's a heart-centered opening, actually. It's an opening where I'm beginning to touch into my deep, and this sounds very braggy, but I was gonna say my deep compassion, but I'll just say compassion. But it's tuning into that deep care, that awakened care that I talk about in New Saints, that joy, right? And the love and the compassion that streams together with clarity and wisdom, right? And it begins to just blossom into this experience. And it really does feel like blossoming. It feels like I'm a flower that's blossoming, an opening. And in this blossoming, what happens is just this really deep attunement to what I am experiencing right now. Everything that's happening in my body, what's happening in my mind, what I'm feeling, what I'm hopeful for, what I'm afraid of, what I'm longing for, what I'm distracted by. And that's what the blossoming is. It's just this awareness of how you're showing up in this moment. And it's no pushing things away, it's no grabbing on to anything. It's just showing up and saying, yeah, this is what's happening. There's the heartbreak, and here's the joy. And letting all of that arise together without, again, no like reaction, no thinking about, no processing, just allowing. And to do this work of just allowing is something that so many beings do not have the capacity to do. Because this is really telling the truth in the moment of who and what you are. And it's not about agreeing with what you're noticing, it's about just seeing it, noticing. That's it. How does that begin to change you? This opening, this telling the truth, this witnessing of oneself, of yourself. Most importantly, how does it begin to soften you? Because some of y'all are edgy as fuck. And you need to douse that. Pour some honey on it, put some sugar on it, honey, do something. You know, the softening, it's so important, the softening. I have been so rigid in the past. In the height of my activism days, I would just jump on people. I would be like, fuck you, fuck that, fuck your mama, fuck your ancestors. But I've softened. But this is how we soften. This is the hard work that I had to learn to do. Like, fuck all this magic and ritual and mythology that we all love. I love it too. But in this path, in my path, like this is the roots. This is the root practice. This is the real magic, is learning how to show up for yourself in the moment, even if you don't want to. This is the roots of the most powerful magic that you can weld in this world, is this level of allowance. Because it's really based upon the most profound care for ourselves. And again, these are the places where the Buddhas dwell. This is where medicine Buddhas dwell, and this is what we're trying to unlock. So offer yourself this medicine to begin with. This medicine, this is what's happening for me. This is where I'm at. I don't have to agree with this. This is not about agreeing with shit. This is just about noticing what's happening. That's it. And then from this place, as you're opening, blossoming, paying attention, noticing, allowing, holding, we're doing all of that. I wonder at the same time if you if you can extend this, what am I trying to say? I wonder if you can invite others into how you're blossoming. Because in my practice, when I am like really paying attention, really noticing and imagining that I'm blossoming, I also kind of imagine that I'm beginning to radiate this care. The care is the radiance of what is just my basic experience in this moment. As I offer this space to myself, that is an expression of care. That care is like space. It's like fluidity, like it's the softness, it's the tenderness that begins to come online instead of the edginess, because the edginess is rigid, it's boundaried, it's guarded, it's masked, and we're trying to dissolve that. And as that dissolves, our natural care begins to radiate into spaces around us. And this is not weakness. This is not a matter of not having boundaries. This is when you're radiating like this, you're also deeply protected because you're aware of what's happening and you can make decisions and choices about how to take care of yourself. Like if you don't need to be somewhere, you say, okay, I need to be somewhere else then, right? Because I'm just responding. I'm not trying to protect myself. I'm just responding to what isn't conducive to my well-being in this moment. So that care, that radiance begins to radiate out. And as that radiance begins to kind of awaken around you, I wonder if you can feel the presence, the energies of so many of these great beings that we've been naming and offering. This kind of practice begins to galvanize, I would say, positive energy. Our light beings. This is what draws those beings and that energy towards us is this kind of vulnerability, this care. As we often do, beginning to, as you're, doing this work, also just touch, the earth, greet the land that you're practicing on, acknowledge the land. Notice also the seat under you, the weight of your body making contact with the seat. In this space, we begin to call the awakened consciousness of Medicine Buddha, of Menla Sangye. We start with the opening mantra, Om Menla Sangye Kino, Soha Medicine Buddha, please know, think of me, look upon me. In a space like this, in a state like this becomes the most earnest kind of calling. The deity or the teacher, or as we sometimes say, calling the guru, calling the teacher from afar. That only means that like in this space, like we're able to really hold the space for the awakening of who we most need in the moment. And in this moment, we're choosing Medicine Buddha, but Medicine Buddha is, in a way, a very composite experience of all the beings in the universe who love us. And when a being authentically loves us, they want us to be free. To be free. So as we begin to awaken the energy, the consciousness of Medicine Buddha, first through this chanting, know that we're calling together all the beings who want us to be free. And again, we start with chanting Om. And then after Om, we'll chant the mantra 3 times. And then we'll end with Om. Okay. We'll begin. Om. Om La Sangye Kino So Om La Sangye Kino So Om La Sangye Kino So Om. Just noticing how or what your experience of Medicine Buddha is now. Do you see Medicine Buddha as a vision or an image in your mind or in front of you? Do you feel Medicine Buddha as just a feeling, impression, sensation? Do you see Medicine Buddha as someone or something in your life who embodies deep love and healing? Or is it just ambiguous, open, spacious? Maybe it's nothing at all from your perception. but opening, telling the truth, paying attention. This is the work that helps us to begin to understand that we are expressions of the great healer. We are. You are. I am. You are. We are. To touch into this deep truth, this unshakable belief that I am what? That I am actually the medicine that I need. I am the medicine that I need. Because first and foremost, you have to become your own medicine. So we're gonna just transition for a bit into the main mantra Teata on Bacon say Maha Bacon say Raza Sumungati Soha. And as we chant, just continuing to open, continuing to rest in this space. And allowing this space, this mantra, you can chant with me or just listen in your own space. Just allowing whatever work that's happening just to continue to tend to you, to work for you. And chanting for a bit, and I'll offer our prayers and come back into chanting. We'll begin. Om Te Am Daum Begenze, Begenze, Ma Begenze, Razazumunga Te Soha. Te Am Daum Begenze, Begenze, Ma Begenze, Razazumunga Te Soha. Te anda benze, benze, ma benze, razuzungani zoa. Te anda benze, benze, ma benze, razuzungani zoa. Te anda benze, benze, ma benze, razuzungare 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 zoa. Te anda benze, benze, ma benze. soha. Te anda begenze, begenze, ma begenze, raza sumungane zoha. Te anda begenze, begenze, ma begenze, raza sumungane zoha. Te anda begenze, begenze, ma begenze, raza sumungane zoha. Te anda begenze, begenze, ma begenze, raza sumungane soha. Te anda begenze, begenze, ma begenze, raza sumungane zoha. Te anda begenze, begenze, ma begenze, raza sumungane zoha. Te anda begenze, begenze, ma begenze, raza sumungane soha. Te anda begenze, begenze, ma begenze, raza sumungane zoha. Te anda begenze, begenze, ma begenze, raza sumungane soha. Te anda begenze, begenze, ma begenze, raza sumungane soha. Te anda begenze, begenze, ma begenze, raza sumungane soha. Te anda begenze, begenze, ma begenze, raza sumungane soha. Te anda begenze, begenze, ma begenze, raza sumungane soha. Te anda begenze, begenze, ma begenze, raza sumungane soha. Te anda begenze, begenze, ma begenze, raza sumungane soha. Te anda begenze, begenze, ma begenze, raza sumungane soha. Te anda begenze, begenze, ma begenze, raza sumungane soha. Te anda begenze, begenze, ma begenze, raza sumungane soha. And then just turning my attention to the prayer request again, calling to the space all the Buddhas, Bodhisattvas, Yidams, Dharma protectors, all beings of light, all of our benevolent ancestors, all the beings who love us and want us to be free. We offer these prayers to you and we pray that you work on our behalf to bring about the fruition of what we most need to see in the world. I'm offering prayers for myself to heal from chronic health issues and disabilities, to effectively navigate systems for folks with disabilities. Prayers for my ancestors and benefactors, may we heal and get free. For all the people transitioning to the Bardo and Gaza, Sudan, Congo, Ukraine, etc. For Lama Rod and his team, may they be well resourced, supported personally, and in the sacred work that they do. Prayers for all that we have lost and all that we have yet to find, along with what we have here with us now. Prayers also for myself, as it is my birthday this week. It is also a difficult, lonely, isolating, and sad time for me. I'm praying for my birthday to be full of joy, abundance, ease, and care, to be able to nourish myself, to continue to show up and support my communities as we make it through this thing called life and beyond. We're offering prayers for Nana Jane Spangler, who's 94, with aging body, back pain, and sadness because she is alienated from her children. We're offering prayers for Aaron and Todd navigating life. Prayers for myself navigating many transitions. May I allow myself grace to easily allow my path to unfold. Offering prayers for Martha and the Bardo due to a terrible car accident, and for Brian recovering and grieving her loss. Offering prayers of gratitude for the Sangha, my community, and the unseen ones and ancestors holding me. Offering prayers that my teen's appetite grows and all the non-divergent ones that struggle with food. Offering prayers for her and all those returning to school, that they have a supported, joyful, courageous, and safe return to school. Offering prayers that my Uncle M is completely cured from the cancer in his body. Offering prayers that Teddy continue to heal, that Beth T is cured of her rare brain disease. Offering prayers that I surrender myself more completely to divinity and experience a deep continual trust in the unseen world. For all those living in isolation and loneliness, prayers for Maria and the Bardo after a long, slow demise, and for her grieving partner Bob. Offering prayers for my physical, mental, and spiritual healing, along with Leah, Abby, Mike, Jen, and Charlotte. Prayers for the tired and weary, may they find strength and peace. Prayers that I find ways to honor, love, and tenderly care for every part of me to bring more wholeness to my soul. Offering prayers for well-being in flight home and for my family, whether it be cohesion and grace as we come together again after enduring hard and disruptive times of addiction. May all be safe and free. Prayers for liberation of all still suffering from isolation and loneliness since the pandemic. Prayers for Bruce's recovery from his hip replacement and for his strength as he prepares to fight cancer again. Prayers for my partner, may he rest and take care of his COVID, happening in the midst of a very stressful work situation. May we flow with change. May I not catch this COVID. May my autoimmune body be held in care. Prayers of all with chronic conditions. May our structures move towards righteous care. Offering prayers that I may be able to prioritize my well-being in times of high workload and shifting circumstances. May I honor my limitations and value myself more than my productivity. Offering prayers for Ollie healing from COVID. Offering prayers for N and R to be well in every way and to be free as quickly as possible. Prayers for Lama Rod swift and complete liberation. Prayers for abolition of all systems of oppression, sickness, and the liberation of all beings in all realms and timeless ASAP. Prayers for universal peace and evolution to higher states. Prayers that all goes well and smoothly during this challenging period of transition, moving, studying, navigating capitalism, and continued indigenization. May I rest enough to always be up to the work. Ashe. Continued prayers for AS as she continues to seek housing that is affordable and safe and accessible for her disability. May she find a new home before she is forced to leave her current temporary home. Prayers for courage to come out of chronic health cocoon of shame and find community. Offering prayers for the courage to stay on this path, and prayers that I, my partner, and all people find alignment, community, and experience deep community care. Prayers for clarity on what my next right action is, for how to be of service to this world. Offering prayers for Earth, Ada, Berea, and all her children, especially those who are experiencing violence and oppression. May we all remember in every fiber and cell of our being that we are already free. May we embody spaciousness, the flow of water, the movement of air, the transformative power of fire, and the care and the connectedness to Earth. Prayers that I may easily receive care as I enter a new chapter, that I may be guided and protected. Offering prayers for Aaliyah, Casper, Dalton, Kaylee, Billy, Pia, and Rocky. Prayers for all the souls coming into the realm. Prayers for JC and BH and all those who experience chronic pain and mental health challenges, that our pain may serve the awakening of wisdom and compassion and may be cleared away as quickly as possible in this life. Offering prayers that I'm able to navigate the nuances of teaching at Europa's inaugural psilocybin facilitator training program this week, and that the complexities of our approach to healing justice will sit well with all of our students. Offering prayers for habitability and safety in my apartment. Offering prayers for SA, KM, DC, SC, myself, and harmony between us and our work, that it may support those we are here to serve and move it forward into the next stages with fluidity and peace. Offering prayers for my protection, may I always be taken care of and resourced. Offering prayers that I find work that is fulfilling and opens a portal to a more easeful life. Offering prayers that my son Lucas will have a smooth transition back to college as he waits to receive more information on his upcoming kidney transplant. Infinite gratitude to our friend Garen, who has been declared as a donor match for Lucas. Prayers that I become willing and able to let go of everything that holds me back so that I can bring the medicine to the world that I'm supposed to. Offering prayers to get fully free, prayers for peace, harmony, and fulfillment in my home and all my relations, prayers for all I chant for. Prayers for Lama Rod's continual healing, offering prayers for more community, prayers for my partner and I to find each other again and again. Please help take away the wounding that prevents us from fostering love and commitment. Prayers for all of our loved ones to find their way to wellness. Offering prayers for DR, who has had to have a cardioversion, and new peacemaker for Paul Carr, who recently entered the bardo. For his wife of decades, Jean Carr, and their family. Prayers for Carol, may her pain be relieved. For myself, offering prayers for myself, for my knee problems, neuropathy, balance issues, vertigo. Prayers for renewal and connection with my longtime teachers and friends as I return to Switzerland next week for the first time in 4 years. Prayers for good health and freedom from COVID for all of us on retreat. Prayers for the old oak tree in my backyard that died and had to be taken down today. Prayers of gratitude for that amazing tree and wishes for its spirit as it moves on. Prayers for all the other trees in its network and all the living beings, including myself, who have benefited from and lived with for decades. Prayers that I feel heal, prayers that I heal from this reoccurring illness and the depression that overwhelms me and that separates me from connection, that may I find community, place, and purpose, strength to weather the storm for anyone else who feels scared and alone. Prayers for my cats Bodhi and Sita, who are fine but have had some challenging health experiences lately. Offering prayers for my brother Chip, my ancestor, who, had he lived past 16, would have turned 80 last week. For Joanna H., recovering from back surgery last week. Offering prayers for Lama Rod, for him to fully heal from his sickness and to continue to be protected and cared for, to move at the speed of liberation for all beings. May he receive all the rest and love he needs to be free and help all beings remember their freedom so they can help others be free, calling on all my resource ancestors to help protect him. For those of us who are working to get free alone, prayers for the Seattle community and our fight to stop legislation that will increase the policing of trans, queer, black, and brown people, women, and sex workers. Prayers for those who are needing to find housing and for their safety. May they live with more ease and have food, shelter, and support they need as soon as possible. Prayers for the protection and healing of all children, outer and inner, for Nicole, Kelly, and Kathan to heal from cancer, for my parents to heal and grow so that they may live to witness my daughter's childhood. For Megan's knee and chronic pain, that we may allow the earth to heal us. Prayers for my beloved family as they navigate anxiety, depression, and trauma. Prayers for my beloved brother and his wife as she suffers through chemo that is keeping her cancer at bay for now. Prayers for all beings everywhere who suffer, that they may find peace. Offering prayers for all those who wait and watch and weep this night. Protection for those who do not know where they will sleep tonight. And I continue to offer prayers for all of our siblings in the UK, particularly our black and brown and immigrant siblings in the UK, struggling to feel safe and held right now. May all systems of all systems that create violence be abolished. May all beings have what they need to be well. I also offer special prayers for my aunt, Jelaine, who suffered a severe stroke last week, and that her recovery continues without obstacle. For her son, my cousin Jay, to have all the resources he needs to organize her care and support. I continue to offer prayers for all those who have gathered here in this digital space practicing medicine Buddha. May your unspoken prayers, not just for others, but especially for yourself, may those prayers for your well-being, liberation, happiness, and healing, may those be tended to by all the loving, liberatory beings in the universe. Again, may all systems of violence and harm and isolation be abolished. May we all awaken to what we are, our true natures, as quickly as possible so that we may get free from suffering and remember that we are all Buddhas. May this be so, and may this come about as quickly as possible. May it be so. And as we turn back into our mantra, just for a couple of minutes, just releasing the worry, fear, anxiety that we hold around these prayers, just releasing those out into this field of Buddhas and light beings. May we trust the Buddhas to work on our behalf to bring about what is necessary for the liberation of all of those we have offered prayers for. We begin again. O te anda begenze, begenze, ma begenze, razu sunga te soha. Te anda begenze, begenze, ma begenze, razu sunga te soha. Te anda begenze, begenze, ma begenze, razu sunga te soha. Te anda begenze, begenze, ma begenze, Raza sumungate soha te anda begenze begenze ma begenze Raza sumungate soha. And as we begin to transition out of our practice, I just invite you just to offer deep appreciation, gratitude, to just offer gratitude to everything that has made it possible for you to do the work that's important, to do your practice, to be in the world, to be here, concerned with getting free, concerned with helping people, concerned with disrupting systemic violence and everything. Offer gratitude to the beings who made this possible, to the ideas, the books, the philosophies that have molded and shaped our relationship to freedom, to all the teachers, to all the guides, to all your mentors and elders. Deep appreciation to the earth, to the elements, to the plants, to the unseen world, to the ancestors, to the deities. Appreciation to our communities, our beloveds, our comrades, our co-conspirators, to our co-disruptors. Deep gratitude to the beings who challenge us, who know our potential and who pushes us, who challenges us to do this work. Offer gratitude to as much as possible. And lastly, offer gratitude to yourself, to your labor, to your care, to the ways in which you're trying to show up as much as possible. And when you're ready, when you feel complete, again shifting your attention to the seat, to the weight of your body, greeting the earth, the land again, acknowledging your breath, slowly beginning to reawaken your bodies, inviting yourself to return back into this collective digital space. And then we will begin to close out with our Shanti Deva's prayer. You'll find that in the chat box. We'll say that 3 times. May I be a protector to those without protection, a leader for those who journey, and a boat, a bridge, a passage for all those desiring the further shore. May the pain of every living creature be completely cleared away. May I be the doctor and the medicine, and may I be the nurse for all sick beings in the world until everyone is healed. Just like space and the great elements such as earth, may I always support the life of all the boundless creatures, and until they pass away from pain, may I also be the source of life for all the realms of varied beings that reach and to the ends of space. May I be a protector to those without protection, a leader for those who journey, and a boat, a bridge, a passage for those desiring the further shore. May the pain of every living creature be completely cleared away. May I be the doctor and the medicine. May I be the nurse for all sick beings in the world until everyone is healed, just like space and the great elements such as earth. May I always support the life of all the boundless creatures, and until they pass away from pain, may I also be the source of life for all the realms of varied beings that reach into the ends of space. May I be a protector to those without protection, a leader for those who journey, and a boat, a bridge, a passage for those desiring the further shore. May the pain of every living creature be completely cleared away. May I be the doctor and the medicine, and may I be the nurse for all sick beings in the world until everyone is healed, just like space and the great elements such as earth. May I always support the life of all the boundless creatures, and until they pass away from pain, I also be the source of life for all the realms of varied beings that reach into the ends of space. Alright. So thank you all so much for your practice again. I will see some of you in retreat up in New Hampshire on Wednesday, either in person or online as well. And I will be away next week, so I'll still be up in New England, and I'll see you later this month after I get back as well. And I think that's it. So thank you, everyone. Thank you for your practice. And please be well.